So if I trim my work area and render a RAM preview of the animation we have so far, you can see it looks it feels a little stuttery, and that's because it has no motion blur. If this sword were really swinging, and we were shooting this with a film camera, and then you went back and looked at a frame of film, a frame in the middle here, this sword would be blurred because it's moving while the shutter of the camera is open, so it causes blurring on the frame. And it really helps to smooth out your motion and make it look more natural. And the way we can do that in After Effects is really cool, because we really don't have to do any work at all. All we've got to do is turn on the switch. All we have to do is turn on the motion blur switch. So you can see to the right of the layer name here, I've got the modes drop down. This is where you choose the blending mode for the layer. Remember, I think we talked about that. Down at the bottom, there's this toggle switches and modes button. If I click that, that toggles this column from modes to switches. We can go back again just by clicking the button again. So now I'm looking at the switches, and we want to look for this switch that looks like a little ball with a little kind of echo trail after it, and we want to click that for the cutlass layer. Notice it doesn't really look like anything happened. Well, in addition to turning on motion blur for the layer, we also have to turn on motion blur for the comp. So the master motion blur switch for the entire comp is up here. So I'll click that. So that's handy. It lets you, if you have many layers with motion blur turned on, it lets you real easily just temporarily turn them all off by clicking this one switch, the master switch for the comp. So now you can see how this sword is blurring. So this motion blur is also going to help hide the effects of overscaling this layer. So you can kind of cheat it and get away with it sometimes depending on the situation. So let's render RAM preview and see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks much more fluid, less kind of strobing effect happening.